Mama kungi betengo we kumoyi ingumada takana. Okyo sokinu kibanga se. Manuele ngando mushisamye. Manuele.
Hey everyone, welcome to the 45th episode of the Two Left Feet podcast. On today's episode, we had on the amazing Joshua Keefe. He is a retired professional ballroom dancer. He specialized in the Latin ballroom styles, and he competed for 18 years, man. This dude started dancing when he was a child, so he's been dancing for a very long time. In this episode, we talk about his childhood, what got him into dancing, what got him into competing, as well as at what point he realized he could make dancing his full-time job, which is so amazing. He is also the founder and the director of Move for Life, which is a dancing school in China, which is trying to give the youth the love and joy of dancing. It's a very, very cool thing he's doing, man. I'm so happy for him. I love the work he's doing. This is a great episode. I know you're gonna enjoy it.
Hey, all right. So now I am on the line with Joshua Keefe, who is a retired ballroom dancer specializing in cha-cha, samba, rumba, paso, doble, and jive. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, you competed for 18 years, and you're currently living in China, and you competed on the Australia Dancing with the Star Shines 2 times now. Is that correct?
Yes.
You are the founder and the director of the Move for Life.
Yes,
Hey,
that's me.
how are you doing today, man?
I'm good. I had a late night last night because I've finished the 2019 series of Dancing with the Stars on Monday, and I leave Sydney tomorrow, and so I've just been catching up with people. And and last night we decided to keep on going to the early hours, and that was fun. Which I'm not so used to these days because running a business and also doing the show has been quite busy. So it's not often that we kind of go out and have late nights.
Okay. What you mean? You were partying, or what you mean? Like business?
No, I went to dinner and then we just kept on. We just went to, I think there's a casino around the corner from where I live here, and we just had a couple of drinks there. So quite low key, but just a late night.
Okay, no, I understand that, man. I understand that. I want to ask you, man. Are you from Sydney, Australia? Are you born and raised in Australia, or what?
So I was born in Brisbane, and then I grew up because of my parents' work situation. We moved to Western Australia, Perth, which is close to Bali in Indonesia. And I grew up there from about 8 or 9 until I left when I was about 2021.
You said wait? Did you say Indonesia?
Close. So
Oh,
just to map out Australia,
Bali.
because Australia is very big. It's
Ah.
like it's like talking about LA and New York. They're not very
Okay.
close.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, tell me, man. I want to ask you, what was it like growing up in Australia? Because I've never been there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really amazing family. So for me, it was really good. Australia is it's still a developing place culturally, and so it's good to step outside of Australia to really understand Australia better. um, and so I've been away from Australia for about 13 years now, and it's been so good for me just to kind of understand a little bit more about who Australians are, compared to other cultures, compared to other people. Um, but I think growing up in Perth, in Australia it's awesome. You can run around. I'm going to compare this directly to Hong Kong now because that's where I've spent my 9 years. But as a child, you can run around. You're not overcommitted. Your life is based on happiness and creativity and positivity for most of the part. Um, you don't have loads of pressures on you until you probably get to high school, and then you're still able to put the pressure on if you want to. And yeah, I think it's a good place for kids to have creativity, as part of their life, because they're not so bound by results and competing with academically. So yeah, it's a great place, and also always beautiful weather,
Okay.
great food, etc.
What about, all the stuff that can kill you down there? Did that affect you at all?
Yeah, I mean, when I was little, we lived on a very like a farming area, and there's lots of snakes and spiders and things like that. But
Right.
it's okay. It's kind of normal, and nothing killed us, so we're all
So
still
you made
here.
it this far.
Yeah,
Hey.
exactly. But when you get in the city, you don't really get any of that anyway, because it's like any other city. It's concrete jungle, and all the animals are are dead. So
I'm curious, man. Did you grow up in like a dancing household? Did your parents dance or?
no, nothing. No, my parents were interested in rugby and horse races and what else? Yeah, football, things like that. Mum tried to get me into those things, but I just really wasn't interested as a kid. I knew what I liked and what I didn't like at a very young age, which is, I suppose, good, but yeah, probably tough for a parent because she's like, oh my God, how am I going to get you to do something? Um, so dancing was, I mean, I started dancing when I was in school because we had these school programs. Um, and I just started doing that. And then one of the girls in the class did competition dancing outside of school. And this is like when we were 9 and 10. And she said, I'll come to one of the Saturday classes just down the road from where I lived. And I said, oh, okay. So I went and I thought, oh, this is okay. I don't mind this. I didn't love it initially. I was kind of like, oh, it's okay. Like it's fun, and I didn't think too much about it. And
Real
then
quick, was it like ballroom or what did you go to?
yeah, so I just went to like a little it was called general class on Saturdays, and it was ballroom dancing,
Okay.
and mixed in with lots of like little line dancers and some partnering like stuff where you're kind of in a circle and you change partners and things like that. It was all like that. Yeah, and it was just kind of easy for kids and lots of different age groups and just like a fun little general class for kids. It was great.
And you say you weren't really interested in it at first?
No, I think I think I thought it was okay, and I was like, oh, it's not bad. I think for my probably more so for my mum, she was probably just happy that I liked something, like I did or I didn't not like it. I think because with my other things, I did like jujitsu as a kid, and I
Okay.
remember hiding in the toilets when they would do certain parts of it because I couldn't do it, so I would just go and hide in the toilet.
Okay.
um, and then I played rugby, and rugby I was not very good because um,
That's a physical sport, man.
yeah, and I was pretty fragile as a kid. So if anyone threw the ball to me, I knew one guy called Ben on the team, so I would just call out Ben's name and then throw the ball in any direction. It didn't really matter. Like I was like, "Vroom, get away from me!" I'm like, because in my head I'm thinking, if you have the ball,
You're
you
gonna get
get
tackled.
pummeled. Yeah. So I'm like, get rid of the ball, Ben. Vroom, gone.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, that was my childhood. Oh, and I played softball as well, like baseball, as a kid. But once again, like the teacher would throw the ball, and he would throw it quite hard, I thought, um, but probably wasn't even that hard. And I would always just be scared of the ball hitting my face. I'd always have
Of
these fears of
course.
like things hitting my face or like getting injured. Or like I was fearful of everything. It was crazy.
I'm curious, man. So you said you weren't really a fan of dancing, and you weren't a fan of sports, but you said you knew what you liked. What did you want to be growing up as a child?
Um, I don't think I had any real passions as a kid. I mean, I started dancing at about 10, and then once I started that, then it slowly evolved, and I think by about 12 or 13, I was hooked. Um,
Ah.
I was completely hooked. Like it only took about 6 months to a year, and I was like, oh, this is it. I love this.
Awesome. At such
Yeah,
an early age, man.
yeah, yeah. Very. And I think I started competition dancing when I was about maybe 11 or 12. And that was funny because I was really short and really fat, and my partner was taller than me. I think she was fatter than me, so it would look like two little potatoes dancing around the.
I'm curious, man. What what made dancing click with you? Was it like the unlikeliness of getting hurt? Like, what made you enjoy it?
um, yeah, I mean, you didn't get hurt in dancing, which is great. Like, you didn't have something getting thrown at you or getting tackled, so that was a bonus. Um, I think for me, it was the music. Like, when I started moving my body with the music, I just felt excited as a kid. I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just feel this is exciting. Um, and then when I started doing competition and stuff, I just thought that was fun and exciting, and I loved music, and I loved being able to um, accent counts and movements with my body. For some reason, it made total sense to me, and it was a real happy
Okay.
place.
Yeah.
Um, and also like the social side of it as well. Like I found that I've started to meet people or kids that I really liked. Like we had the same um, hobby, and that was massive for me because we moved around a little bit as a kid, so I kind of was a little bit uprooted a couple of times and felt like I didn't really connect with some of the kids from school,
Mm.
and then when I started dancing, it was like a little community.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, and that was really nice for me. So I think there was a few things in there and the people that the studio I started at was just beautiful. Like the people there were just so nice.
Okay.
Like a real family type of environment. There was lots of positive things at that early stage that kind of made me excited to go to a dance studio on a Saturday.
Yeah. I'm curious, man, were were your parents, supportive of your passion of dancing, or did they try to, you
Yeah.
know, change you? Oh, okay, so they were supportive of that?
Yeah, 100%. My mum,
That's awesome.
yeah, my mum was, I mean, in the early days, she's like, oh, you like dancing? I'm like, yeah, I think I like dancing, mum. She goes, okay, well, let's just keep on doing that. That's fine. And then some of the other mums, or one of the other mums, approached her and said, "Oh, would your son dance with my daughter and do competitions?" And mum's like, "Okay, like let's give that a go." Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it just kind of evolved from there. And I did like my examinations as a kid. Like you do these medal examinations, and yeah, mum was really supportive. She loved doing that and watching some. She wasn't like a stage mum. She wouldn't sit in the studio and watch me all the time. She'd come for the important things, like if I had a show or competition or something, she would come to those. But she wouldn't. She'd be like, "Okay, I'll drop you off here, and I'll see you at the end, and work hard, and I'll see you later."
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, really like, yeah. I mean, she had a full-time job and she was busy as well.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly, exactly.
but yeah, really like great support like from day one. But
That's
yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah.
I'm curious, man. I don't know if you can like tell me this, but like, how important was that support from your parents to you? Because I know there might be, parents out there right now who might not support what their kids do, man. So how important was that to you?
I think knowing some of the other kids and what they went through and what I didn't have to go through. So some of the other parents would push their kids to do dancing, which is a total fail because
Okay.
those kids burn out. They can't be bothered after a certain period of time.
Right,
It
right,
becomes
right.
it's a negative relationship you build with your parents. Uh,
Right.
and then some kids, I think the parents pulled them out of it, and that was probably also a little bit of a fail because the parents decided that they needed to study more or do another subject or something else on their weekends. And I think that's also a bit of a fail if the child is really enjoying it because you might be hindering
Exactly.
something that they're really good at.
Right,
Uh,
right, right.
and even if they don't stay in the dancing arena, they might move on to other things that are based around the creativity or the feeling that dancing gives them. And I'm finding that now with the work that I do with kids that sometimes the parents just don't listen to the kid. Um, I think you need to let the kid love something for a while. I don't know, it's my own opinion. I mean, I was just lucky. My mum said, "Yep, do it." And I
Yeah,
mean, she
man,
always
that's
said, you know,
awesome.
work hard at it. Um, don't waste my money. I'm like, totally. And she's like, we don't have that much money. You can't be like, you know, I can't be paying for this and then you're not going to like do it properly. And I'm like, yep, got it.
Right.
I mean, let's do it. So,
That's awesome, man. That's I don't know how else to put this, man, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like you were very blessed, you know, to have
yeah,
a parents who, you know what I'm saying, who supported that, man. That's so awesome, bro.
yeah, really, I'm really lucky. Really, really lucky.
Yes, man. I'm curious, man. So you know, you're growing up, you know, pursuing dance and everything. All throughout high school and everything, you know, you're just practicing dancing, or like, you know, what happens in like high school as you get older?
Yeah, so I started the competitions, and then I got more and more involved in the competition. So it went from being like a Saturday afternoon to being like maybe 1 or 2 days during the week, and then it was 3 and 4 days during the week. Um, and then I hit high school, and by the time I hit high school, I was quite into the dancing. And by about year 10 over here, so I think it would have been about 13, 14, 15, 14 or
Okay.
15.
Okay.
Um, I was ranked in the top, I think I was in the top 3 or 4 of the country. Um,
Wow. For
so
ballroom?
yeah,
Oh wow, that's awesome,
so,
man.
yeah, it was really good, and it was good for
Like
my confidence
confidence.
as well,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
because I didn't really. I had some friends at school that I really loved, but we weren't the cool kids. We were the kids that you probably just didn't talk to or didn't associate with. Just because we were quiet and maybe not the most academic and not very sporty and not cool, and we were just teenagers. We were just like awkward,
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah, I
funny
understand.
looking teenagers. So um, dancing was my superpower. Uh,
Sure enough.
yeah, and I got to be a superpower kind of mutant thing, I think, when I was a kid through dancing. It just gave me that. It was my release and my hideaway, and then by the time I was in the last 2 years of school, um, I was really doing it well. Like
Mm.
I was one of the best in the country and heading towards. I didn't realize at the time, but I was heading towards more international success.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was good, and I loved it, and I couldn't think of anything else when I was at like, and I felt sorry for anyone else who didn't have like something as heavy
A
and as exciting.
passion.
Yeah.
Right. I'll let
Mm.
me ask you this, man.
Hey, if you could leave a like and subscribe, that would be amazing for the channel. Let's get back to the video.
Right. I'll let me ask you this, man. I have a lot of questions for you, man, but let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What was it like, you know, learning ballroom in those beginning stages, you know? Like, did you just love it so much that the challenging obstacles, you know, were nothing to you, or
Yeah.
what was it like learning it originally?
Yeah. There were some challenging things in there, especially with the competition stuff. So learning the basics of ballroom dancing, I thought were pretty easy, um, because it all just felt very simple and like memorizing things. And I was not an academic kid at all, but my
Right.
memory for dancing was very simple and very.
Ah,
So I just like you could show me what to do, and I'd be like, okay, fine, and I would put my own self into it, and make things my own at it, like pretty early on. And I didn't really know about it, so I was just doing what I was told. But I found
right.
found it really easy. The things that I found really challenging were more about expressing myself through the dancing in front of people from about 14, being visually expressive with my face or my gestures. That was quite a challenge. I remember having arguments with my teacher. I was quite stubborn as a kid. Um, and my teacher was like, oh, you need to put this energy in, and like, I need some facial expressions. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. No, like I'm not doing that. No. And he's like, I'm your teacher and blah blah blah. I'm just like, yeah, I know, but I'm not doing that. No, like, um, but I also, at that early age, I didn't really know what hard work was. I thought I was working hard.
Oh.
I didn't realize that what hard work was until about, I think, 15. And then I had a few teachers that basically just kicked my butt. Like
So and
yelled
so
at.
and so wait, so tell me, what changed that you say you had some teachers? Tell me, what is hard work? How do you define hard work, man?
Oh, well, I thought it's very interesting, but it's like when you're going to the gym and you think you're working out hard, and then you get a PT, and you get a PT that is relentless and
Uh,
pushes you even harder, and then you go, oh, I didn't realize I could do that,
right.
and then you think, oh, if I compare that to what I normally do, I don't work that hard. It's like
Wrong.
it's like that realization, or working a job, and then they're saying, actually, I need you to do extra hours, and you're thinking, I can't do those extra hours. I won't survive, and then you do it, and you're like, oh, actually, I was fine. It was like that, and I remember a few times where my teacher, one of them was my ballroom teacher, Les Patchett, and he was very strong in his beliefs about dancing and that. And I remember one day he yelled at me, and it was to get a reaction, and he got it. And he did it while I was dancing, so he was like, "Rah!" And I was like, wow. And then I felt this fear running through my body, but also this
Yeah.
energy, and I was like, oh, that's good. And he goes, that's what I want. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I was like, how do I tap into that energy again? I need to replicate the fear that he gave me. Um, and then another teacher ended up being basically my dad, Michael Baker. He was also the same in that he would demand the most from me, and I didn't realize how amazing he was until later. But he was the one who gave me my real work ethic. He was like, "You're not doing enough. You can do this better. Stop being so lazy," and all these things that I was like, "Oh, what? You're not my parent. You can't say that." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Actually," I'm like, "Actually, you can because it's true." But I respected him and I loved him so much, so I just ended up doing it. Um, and I worked harder and harder and harder as the years went on, because of his guidance and his lack of
Yeah.
um, flexibility on it.
Now let me ask you this, man. I know you probably had some amazing people in your life. Um, I want to ask you this question. I'm trying to think how to word this. Do you think you would have turned out the same without those influences? And
um,
what I
no,
and what I mean is like, uh, were you just so fortunate to have these people in your life? Like, is that what it is, or?
yep. I think I was very fortunate, um, especially from getting Michael. Michael was an accident because he was replacing one of my teachers that was away or sick or something. So I got him, and I ended up just staying with him. And I don't think it was me searching for his lesson. I think he arrived somehow in the situation. So it was actually just, it was a bit of fate. And then
Okay.
with that, and then when I started learning from him, um, everything got better and better and better and better and better. And then he ended up being my teacher, and he carried me to international success.
Okay, that's
So
awesome, man.
yeah, yeah. So I think it was a bit of luck. Well, actually, it was a lot of luck.
I said, sounds like it might have been destiny, man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think certain people have been placed in my life along the way.
Right. Yeah, because I just feel like, maybe for someone else, I hate to think about this, but there might have been someone who's, who was, just as talented as you,
Yeah.
but unfortunately maybe just didn't have those influences in their life. I don't know, what's what, but it sounds amazing that it worked out for you, man.
Oh, yeah. Look, when I was growing up, we had so many amazing dancers, um, and a lot of them didn't go on to do what I did. Um, I think also because they got to a certain point and they weren't getting what they wanted out of competition. Um, but they didn't have the guidance that I had. I had such good guidance. I had really clear, strong guidance, and I don't think they did. I think they had other people that may have either not as been as intelligent as my teacher or as open-minded.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I was really lucky, and I don't think I do think especially at those young ages you need like good influences, strong
Right, right.
influences.
I'm curious, man. Back in high school, those are your early adult years. Those are like the peer pressure years.
Oh
What
yeah.
kept you going? What kept you going with it? Like, why did you not give up on it?
I'm stubborn.
Okay.
I'm stubborn, and I was. It made me feel good. It made me feel like I was useful, and I was like doing a competition and doing well in a competition would make me feel good. And even when I didn't do well in a competition, I just loved it. I thought, oh, this is a dream. I love doing this thing, and I just wanted to get better at it, to be honest. And I didn't have I didn't have parents that were like, oh, you didn't win. Um, my mum is. My mum's, I think, quite creative. So I think, and she's perfectionist. So I think I got some of that. And I just love working on things over time and building them and making them better. So I think I was lucky I had that mentality. And so that kind of kept me going through high school. I had a really positive, happy activity to go to
Awesome.
when everything was working. Um, and I think I was lucky like that. Some other guys didn't have that. Um, they had school and and then after school they would, I don't know, just hang out or watch TV or
Yeah.
do work. And I was in a dance studio kind of getting all my feelings out, I suppose.
Ah,
Yeah,
I
it does
definitely
that.
understand that, man. I'm
Yeah.
curious, man. So you dancing in high school, and you said you get some international fame or success, right? What happens after high school?
So actually, so the international success came after I left high school. I did high school, and then I was already top of the country in my age group, and then the year after high school, was it year after? Yeah, I think it was. It might have been year after. Yeah, I can't remember actually. God, ages ago. Um, Went to the British Open and did the under 21s category, and we got in the top five.
Wow.
And that was the whole world was involved in that, and we were hoping to get out of the first or second round, so maybe in the top, I don't know, 100 or 200, and then we got fifth.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, that was massive.
It is.
And yeah, so I think after that I decided personally that it was definitely the career choice.
Okay.
Because once you have that success as
Of
at a young age,
course.
you've already kind of set yourself up for
Yeah.
future years.
Hold on real quick. So you graduate high school. Was at when you graduate, was dancing kind of just like a part-time job in your mind, and you're looking for going to college or thinking about going to college and everything?
Yeah, I still went to university.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I passed my exams, and I went to do a commerce degree in consumer law and marketing, and I didn't end up finishing it. Because I was working really hard at dancing, and I was getting better at it and better at it. And university was just it was like it was just filling time, and I
Right. Right.
didn't really want to do it. And I was set more on kind of leaving Australia and going to United Kingdom to further my dancing with professionals. So I didn't really focus on university at that time, which my mum was not too keen about. But as
I understand.
I was so stubborn, so I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going.
I think that's what brought about so much success. I'll be honest with you, man. It's so wonderful, man. You knew what you wanted to do, like you said, from an early age, man.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you didn't waste any time on anything else.
yeah,
You put your full energy into what you wanted to do, man. That's so amazing, man.
yeah. I find it also funny when I look at it, and if I remember a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, I don't really know what I want to do," and I'm like, "Oh, why?" I'm like,
Right.
find it,
Yeah.
go
Uh-huh.
find it. Because I
Do
knew
you
from
realize now? Okay. I
from a
said,
young
do
age
you
I was that's exactly what I want to do, and even now I know exactly what I want to do.
do you realize now how I guess other people aren't as fortunate as you?
How unfortunate you mean, or
I guess yeah. How unfortunate people are, to find out what they want to do. To know what they want to do.
yeah, I think that would be I think that would be quite scary because you know having so many different things that you could do and not really kind of
Right.
not connecting with something and not going, oh, I really love that. I'd love to do that, or I'd love to be good at that, or I'd love to just pursue it. Um, I think a lot of it is fear, though, not allowing yourself to go and make mistakes or go try things out because you're worried that you're not going to be good at it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or it's too late, or that's not cool, or I just think you need to go and do things. And
Mm,
if you really enjoy it, then you probably enjoy it for so many reasons, and then you'll meet other people along the way that feel the same, and
right.
things will start to develop. It's yeah, and I feel I feel terrible for some of those kids who just didn't know what they wanted, and you like see some of them kind of working and finishing their degrees and doing jobs that they really don't like. Uh,
It's a lot of people, man.
yeah, lots of people, and it's different. Like obviously in Australia where you have more choice about what you can do with your life. In other countries, it's just make money or to survive.
That's America right there, man.
Yeah, and that's tough, and that's really, really tough. So I'm so lucky, way,
Mm.
way lucky.
Let me ask you this, man. I don't. This might not be like the appropriate time, but I'll give me some like parenting advice. Let's say you have a child, man.
Mm.
What advice can you give parents right now? Like what would you do for your child?
I think with
Just
my
be
child, because I work with kids now, I would make sure that um, my child is enjoying at a very young age. Kids know what they like. They like it or they don't, and they'll tell you.
Yeah, that's so true, so true.
And I think you need to follow the advice of the child with hobbies and things like that so that you can push them in, or not even push them, you can allow them to go in the direction of things that they are already passionate about or already connecting to. And 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 through those things that they like as kids, teach them growth mindset so that they stick with it and they learn to push through any negativity or anything that's hard or just to kind of give them a real kind of focus so that they don't feel like they're on Instagram and they're just flicking through life. Like it's just allow them to kind of continue with something and nurture their ups and downs, but try and go with the direction of the kids. Like I think kids know what they want. Don't obviously set them with lots of boundaries so they're not like maniacs, but um, I think kids know what they want. I've worked with lots of little ones whose parents don't realize what joy the kids have in some of the dance classes, and that's a bit upsetting because um, the parents think that they know better, and I'm like, oh,
Right.
mate, your child is having an absolute ball, and actually they're pretty good. And they're like, oh no, I want them to do this and this and this, and I'm like,
That's
oh,
so unfortunate, man.
mate, you want that, but I'm not sure whether they want that. And
Right.
some parts of their life, you need to give them a little bit of their own um, allowances to make decisions and to follow
Yeah,
their
like
joy.
autonomy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, Not all the time because they're kids and they don't know what they're doing half the time. But if something brings them joy and it's positive, let them do it.
Yeah. That's I think that just shows how much of an impact your parents can have on your life, man.
Mm.
Because at an early age, they're pretty much they're your caretakers. They're making all the decisions for you, man.
Yeah, they
That
are.
just shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just looking back on it, you know what I'm saying? And I like to think that, I made a lot of my decisions, but I'm the person I am today because of my parents, you know what I'm saying? The upbringing I had.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so true, man.
And I think it's like that pinball machine, right? So you're kind of getting thrown around, and your parents should just kind of keep you going straight. Um, but they shouldn't be controlling every single decision that you make. And unless it's like moral. If it's a moral thing, obviously go for it. But it should just be a little bit of like, oh, okay, well, you probably went a little bit too far there, or you could go a little bit further into that and just give them a little bit of help and a little bit of guidance.
Mm.
But I'm living in Asia now, where the parents, a lot of them do like to control the way that their kids do everything. Down to some of them will want to sit in dancing lessons, not in my classes because we don't allow it, but they will sit in lessons and they'll be telling the children what to do beyond the teacher's advice,
Mm.
which is it's a big culture shock for me, because in Australia you wouldn't be able to do that, but also because you, as a parent, you don't really know what you're doing, so like
Yeah, so you can't know everything as a parent, as a person. You don't know everything. So yeah,
yeah,
to think you know better than a teacher, in a
yeah,
specified field.
yeah, exactly. Someone who knows what they're doing, their experience with that age group, um, they are offering the right advice at the right time, and then parents, and sometimes grandparents in Asia are hilarious. They're they're really full on, um, and it's all like, oh, you've got to do this and this and this. It's like, no, the child's brain is full of information, and if they're not picking it up, or if
Right.
they're not listening, or whatever, the teacher will understand that. But yeah, it's a very competitive world in Asia, because a
It
lot of the
is. I've heard of
lot of the
that.
yeah, and it's a product of the governance, because they don't have a social security system, in most countries. So if you don't have success financially, or in some way, um, to make money, you basically won't survive.
Right.
There's nothing to fall back on. There's no safety net. So success is the only option. And we don't have that in Australia. You have lots of safety nets, so you can fall down a few times and you still get helped back up. But over there,
Right.
it's a very different mindset. So
It
I do
is.
appreciate it. It's actually another form of love that these parents provide over there.
I said
Uh,
that's what it is, man. They want what's best for the child, and
yeah,
that's where it's coming from, correct?
yeah, absolutely. So when you're when you're in a teacher's position or my position, you have to also go and try and understand that mentality as well. So talking to the parents, sometimes it's good to have both of those things happening in your mind, and just offer help or guidance sometimes, but understand that actually there's a bigger picture that you don't have control over. So it's all
Since it's so competitive over there, does it lead to an improved or increased talent level? I'm curious.
no.
Oh wow.
It leads to, especially in dancing. Um, I think also because of the generations before, they don't understand that children need freedom, in the creative arts, um, and kids need to, um, problem solve in their own bodies. And if they don't allow their children to problem solve, they are mostly in group classes, also because there's an expense as well, so it's expensive. But most of the kids are in group classes and they all have to do the same thing. And where I come from, we were in group classes and you were given the steps, but how you interpreted those steps and what you did with them was your own thing. And if you did your arms slightly different or whatever, it was celebrated. And if you do that, in some Asian countries, specifically China and Hong Kong, if you don't copy exactly what the teacher's doing, then
Ah.
it's a failure.
Mhm.
And I also think that's because they haven't really understood that difference is better. Like,
Yeah.
individuality is key, to being successful as a ballroom dancer, and other styles of dancing as well. Um, so yeah, and that's why there's a similarity. Like when you go to, like China, for example. Actually, no, China. I have to no. I'll take that back. Some countries you go to, and they all have a very similar way of moving because they've all grown up learning how to dance like each other.
Mm.
Whereas Australia doesn't have that. No one moves the same in Australia.
Right. I said probably outside of Asian countries.
Yeah, there's just less control. There's more, openness to creativity, individuality, um, and it's also part of our culture as well, just to be like that, be your own person all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Mm.
I definitely want to get into your business, Move for Life, man. But tell me, you graduate high school, you're doing some college, you have some success on the international level, and you realize, this is your passion, you want to go full time with this. What happens, a year or two after high school? You're just practicing full time and competing, or
Yeah, so after high school, I started university. I started competing. I had a few with my. I had a very successful dancing partnership that then finished up because my partner decided that she didn't want to compete anymore. She because it's quite time consuming. It's financially draining. Um, and so I was in a bit of a rut for a few years, probably about 4 years, where I was trying to build up um, a new partnership. One of the partners was Peter Murgatroyd, who is on Dancing with the Stars in America. She's the, I think, wife of um, oh goodness, I can't remember his name now. Chermosky, not Val. I know Val. Anyway, and she's done really well on Dancing with the Stars in America. Beautiful girl. We danced together for a while, and then we both decided to stop dancing. And then soon after that, my previous partner, I was quite successful with, she wanted to start dancing again. I thought, oh, maybe I can start it again. Wasn't really sure. Then I gave it another break. Peter went on to do Burn the Floor, and then eventually Dancing with the Stars in America. And I kept on doing competition stuff. And I finally met my partner Sarah. I think way down the line. I think I was about 25, 26. And that's when things really started to kick off, and we were quite successful on the competition circuit immediately. Um, and that was Sarah. So Sarah's Italian. We lived in Italy for a while. We lived in Hong Kong for
that
a
was
while.
Miss Sarah Magnanelli.
Magnanelli, yeah,
Man,
yep, that's
I saw you perform with her, man. It was at a Latin Open competition, and
yeah,
it was good, man. Yeah.
yeah. She's gorgeous. So she was I would say she's my partner. She's been
Okay.
yeah. That would be my whole career right there. She's gorgeous, and definitely my dancing soulmate.
Okay. Sure enough.
Yeah.
I,
Um,
I want as I want to ask you this, man. I don't know much about I guess ballroom competition, man.
mhm.
I want to ask you. I guess a whole bunch of questions, but I want to ask you. What was it like preparing for it? What is the competition like? And what are they grading you on? What makes first place for second place?
Yeah. So it's a bit ambiguous. So it's a tough one. You're looking well. The build up to the competition is quite structured. You will work with your professional coaches. You'll be training every single day, um,
Is
and
it
you're
a specific routine, or like everyone's doing their own
yeah.
routine, correct? Right. Okay.
Everyone does their own routines, uh, and and this is where the individuality and the creativity is key. Is allowing or coming up with something that's better, maybe stronger, faster, cleaner, more intricate, more interesting, more unexpected than anybody else. Um, and that, yeah. So, and you basically you have these routines that you might slightly adjust from competition to competition, but the core of it is quite similar. So you work on the same things for years to make them better, better and better and better. And I think it depends on when you get to the actual competition and you're dealing with judges and trying to figure out what they're looking for. There are some basics that they will look for, like your speed, your power, your control, how clean you can move your feet from foot to foot and your legs from foot to foot. Also, your ability to turn the personality of the dance on, interaction with your partner, and also simplifying, having an effective and simple costume so that the judges can see all that stuff.
Mm.
They basically, most of the time, they want something exciting that entertains them, that looks easy to accomplish. Like obviously, if you're making something look hard, you're not really that good at it. You haven't worked hard enough.
Right. The best ones make it look easy, right?
Right, because they've ironed out all the bumps. Yeah, and this is where it's quite tough to understand what goes on in a judge's mind as they're judging, because some of them might be more focused on the performance side of things, and some of them might be focused more on the technical side of things, and some of them, depending on the level of their skill, might just like the dress. You don't know.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, you hope that everyone's looking for similar things, but this is why dancing is quite tough, and the competition scene is actually quite tough.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
know what they're looking for.
I definitely understand that, man. I'm curious. Is it? Yeah. When I saw you dance, I believe it was like multiple couples. It's not like your turn, your turn, your turn. Everyone was dancing at once. Is that correct?
Everyone's so they'll have probably a maximum of maybe up to 15 or 20 couples on the floor at a time, depending on the competition and how big the floor is. But yeah, you have quite a few people on the floor, and then they will mark who they want to go into the next round, and usually they'll understand that from this particular heat. So there might be like 10 heats, and in 10 heats there'll be 20 couples, or in each heat there'll be 20 couples, and then they might only be allowed to mark 10 couples from each heat to the next round. And then, so usually it kind of, each round gets cut in half until you get to the top six. So it goes 6, 12, 24, 48,
Okay.
92.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you performing and everything, man. Is that just your life? After college and everything, that's your life is performing and competing.
Yeah. So after college, it was moved to England and tried to get some work there, like a day job, so that I could pay for the dancing lessons and just living over there, and then working hard to do the competitions on the weekends around my work schedule. And like I worked a full 9 to 5 job in the city.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, and then after that, we would go to training every night, uh,
Right.
and
That's hard
sometimes,
work, man.
yeah, we worked really hard, really hard. Um, on the weekends, we would drive to competitions that might be like 2 or 3 hours drive north or south or wherever, just to keep the competition fitness up. Uh, yeah, it was lots and lots of work, and we were very poor. um, and I actually think when you're poor, you've got so much better stories. Like,
Believe it. I believe it, man. Because everything's not just handed to you, right?
no,
Unfortunately.
exactly. We had actually, this is how poor we were. We had this car that we paid £150 for. £150 for a car. And it was probably worth about £5, I reckon.
Wow.
It was so bad. I think we called him Herbie or something.
Okay.
But basically, when in his later stages of life, we would we would drive to anywhere basically, and if we stopped the car completely, it would turn off and overheat.
Wow.
so,
Wow.
so we'd have to have a bottle of water in the car, and every time we got to a traffic light, we would have to run out, open up the bottle, and
Wow.
pour some water on it, and then get back in the car and then start it up again.
Oh, so that leads you to my next question. I was going to ask you, man. I guess it was not very lucrative as a part-time dancer, full-time dancer, as part-time at that point.
Yeah, I mean, on the competition scene, you don't make any money as an amateur. You might make a bit more these days. Oops. Yeah, you might make more money these days, but it's actually really tough at the early stages. You have to spend so much money on the tuition and costumes and travel. So everything you get, you put back into the dancing. And
Right.
if you start with that mentality, that's fine. But if let's just say you do that for a little while, and then you go and do something like Dancing with the Stars, or you go on the stage and do like a season with Burn the Floor or something, you get a taste for money, and then you don't really want to go back to that lifestyle of having
Of course
no money,
not.
no time. So you're better off just starting in it and staying in it.
So I understand, man. So you have a full-time job. You're driving and competing, man. Um, I guess my question, at what point did you feel successful, or did you feel successful all throughout that?
No, I felt very unsuccessful for a long time until about 26, 27. Then when I met Sarah, we started dancing together and things started to get better. And I think because I was so interested in the partnership and I really loved Sarah, the results were getting better and I could see the potential. Then I started to, I think, really enjoy the process and start to enjoy some of the successes we had. And I think only after about a year and a half or 2 years we turned to professional, which was a really hard decision because I felt like when we turned to professional I was like, oh no, we're old now, it's all over, oh, we're going to retire in a few years. But as soon as we did our first professional competition, we cracked the top 10 at the international championships, and that was amazing. That was where I thought, oh wow, we've made it now. This is great.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted the whole time. So yeah, and then after that we stayed in the top 10 for a few years, and we cracked some of the world finals,
Wow.
and that was amazing. And that was, I think, was our peak, and we loved it. And then about 30. I was about 31, 30. Sarah was 30, and then we just decided that it wasn't for us anymore. We dedicated most of our life
Oh.
to it, and then we just decided, actually, it's enough now. We need to move on and start doing something with our life.
Yeah. I'm curious. Going professional, is that simple as joining a professional competition, or is there more to it than that?
Yeah, you have to
I want to
register.
say I want to say as simple, but
It is pretty simple. I think
yeah,
you just register as a professional. The thing is, with professional, the level is much higher than amateur,
of course, of course, of
uh,
course.
but you can't go back to amateur. So it's like it's a one-way decision.
So you mean they won't let you back in amateur competitions?
No,
Oh wow. Okay, I
yeah.
understand.
Some people have done it, but I don't know how they do it,
Mm,
because you're not supposed to. But yeah, once you're in professional, you're a professional, and
professional,
you can make more money. People look
of
at you as a
course,
professional,
of course.
and it's just, yeah, it's a maturing phase, and you start to dance against people that have danced for longer. They're better. They're
Right,
stronger,
right.
more famous.
You're a professional. I mean, it doesn't get no higher than professional, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's the real deal, and it's good. It's a nice maturity. You feel like when you're an amateur, everyone's hungry and frantic, and even when you're dancing on a competition floor, you can feel all this crazy energy. But when you get to professional, it's like everyone's just knows who they are by then, and they're
Hey.
dancing a more of a pace. And it's a lovely feeling, actually, when we dance professional. I was like, oh, this is much better. This is quite relaxed. Not
Oh,
relaxed, but relaxed.
I get you. I'm curious, man. Tell me, what was it like during those early stages of being a professional?
Well, for us, it was fantastic because we just turned professional and we got amazing results, and everything was getting better, and we loved our dancing. We loved the direction of it. It was fantastic. We moved to Hong Kong, and that's probably where most of the changes happened, because we were able to make enough money to support the kind of dancing that we wanted to do, because our teachers were very
Hey.
expensive. And it was positive. It was really good time for us. We were working as hard as ever. We still had no life. We were just focused on dancing. Uh, but yeah, it was great. We were enjoying the ride, I think. Yeah.
I understand that, man. I definitely understand that. So you say you're competing for a while, and then as you get older, you and your partner Sarah, you say it's time to move on. Is that when Dance for Life came about, or was there something in between that?
Yeah, so I did. So that was about 2013. We decided to exit the competition stage and then just focus on life. And then Move for Life didn't come around until
A move for life.
2015.
Okay.
Um, and that was a product of me teaching in Hong Kong and not being totally satisfied by, because I've been in this competitive environment, this international competitive environment for ever, and overseas for ages, since I was 18, 19, 20. And it's quite full on, and it's a small bubble to live in. And sometimes I feel as though it's more, and especially in Hong Kong, it's based around the people with money who want to create a hobby, and then there's also the competitive environment that's, it's quite tight, and sometimes I feel it's a bit negative because everybody's competing, and I wanted to basically, and it felt fairly superficial, and so I wanted to get out of that and start looking at other things, but I wasn't really sure until I had a student, Declan, who came over to live in Hong Kong to work with me, and he brought his girlfriend at the time who was dancing with someone else. Anyway, these two decided to dance together, and in 2015 we were just having a dinner one night, and we were just talking about life and things, and we just said, oh, wouldn't it be great? I think it was Declan who started the conversation and said, oh, I'd love to do some of that stuff that we did at school in Australia. And I'm like, oh, I did the school things as well. Like, that's actually how I started. And they said, yeah, that'd be great. Do you reckon that would be good in Hong Kong? And I was like, I think that would actually be great in Hong Kong. And I said, you know what? I love this idea. I'll go and chat to some of my friends, because I had a lot of teacher friends in Hong Kong. And I just got some of their advice, and I said, what do you think if we decided to do some of that? And they were like, oh, we love the idea. So then I started formulating a little bit more of a structure to, what the concept was and what we wanted to do. And also, if it added any value, like if it's, you kind of want to head in a direction that's pretty pure. What are we going to get out of this? What's the whole point of it? Like, I don't just want to go teach classes. I want to make a difference. I want to do
have an impact.
Yeah, exactly. And then over time, we just create, and that's when I went to do Dance with the Stars in 2015, because I thought, oh, I'll go do that. It's a bit of a break from Hong Kong, and if I want to actually work with some of the schools over here, I'm going to need a profile to get me through the door.
Right.
None of them know the ballroom dancing industry, so my successes kind of don't mean that much, because everyone says that they're the world champion or something. So I went and did that, and then I came back and I kept on working on the business plan, and Declan and Victoria, we all kind of worked together, and we said, oh, actually what we need to do is we need to look at empowering these kids through the dancing like we were empowered. So that's my story, and that's also their story, and it'd be great if we were able to help other kids, especially in Asia with all this academic pressure, to have an outlet, to feel good about themselves, and to understand that they have like a physical and a creative intelligence and a musical intelligence, and there's more things to life than just studying, because it's also about mental health and that these days as well, with all the pressure that these kids have. So we just kind of kept on working on that, and talking to more teachers, and then starting to work in some of the schools, and it evolved from there. And we kind of thought, actually, some of the kids, some of the breakthroughs that we've had have just been so special. Like some kids that were like me, that were just not academic and not sporty, and able to start shining in this class. And some of the teachers are like, this kid's not good at anything, but he's really good at this. And it's like, I know, this is why we're here. This is why we're doing it. And that kid's going to remember that point is when when his little life changed, and he started going in a different direction, because he might have felt really good about himself for a change. It's so good. There's so many aspects to it that are just so good. There's the social development side of it, dancing with a partner, not being afraid to have physical contact with another human, and understanding your own self. How am I dealing with this other person? Not just not just accepting, but what is it? Um, um, Giving someone else, like, just being self-aware, like they're aware of themselves, I'm aware of myself, my physical state, like I'm not pushing someone, I'm like, where are my feet going, like, because it's, I don't know, I feel like it's an awakening, it's a physical and mental awakening when you start to dance, like.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely said it, and at that age, man, eh, it's a way to express yourself, like you say. But if you're
Yeah,
good at it, it gives you. If you're good at it, if you feel you're good at it, it gives you confidence, man. A great way to
yeah,
earn confidence at a young age. So I definitely understand that, man.
yeah, absolutely. It's I think it's key, especially in those, like, in those young years when you're trying everything, and you know, it's nice to kind of just go, oh, actually, I'm quite good at this.
Right, right.
I think as a kid, I didn't mind that I wasn't really good at anything, but I really loved being good at one thing. I didn't think I needed to be amazing at anything.
Okay.
I was quite happy with it. But when I started to feel good about, when I knew I was actually good at something, I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll try a bit harder at other things. If I can do that,
Right,
then I
right,
could
right, right. It
to
kind of opens
transfer.
the door for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm curious. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Is it dance for life or move for life?
Move for life.
Okay, I'm sorry. I believe my last.
Yeah.
Move for life. It's aimed at young children in China. What I want to ask you, what brought you and Sarah to China originally? Why'd you move there of all places?
There was a very busy dancing scene over there, and it's the kind of environment where the students have the students are quite wealthy, so you can make a lot of money to support your own dancing,
Okay,
and
okay.
they appreciate the status of what you do. So if you're quite high up, which we were, then they're quite happy to. It's almost like you're fashionable. Um,
Ah,
and they're quite happy to be regular with lessons and classes and things like that. So, you're able to make a bit more of a stable income, which then helps you support your dancing.
cool. Yeah,
Whereas,
yeah, yeah.
and we were living in Italy before that, and the economy was awful. The governance is atrocious, and we weren't able to make much money at all. So we were just behind all the time.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I
So
definitely
it's, yeah,
understand that, man.
in a roundabout way, money.
I understand that, man. I definitely understand that. I want to ask you, man, what was it like moving to China, man?
I didn't really love it at first, but we were so focused, I could have moved anywhere and I would have been fine as long as the dancing
Okay,
was.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
I didn't need a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I just needed to be a good dancer.
I understand that. I definitely understand that. And so I know you've actually had like quite a lot of success with Move for Life, because I know you currently have 6 international scale dancers as well as 11 international school partners. Is that correct?
Uh, yeah, we've got loads of, and I think we might even have more now. I've
Okay.
been away. I've been away for like 3.5 months, and I spoke to my general manager. I was like, "How's everything going?" And she's like, "It's awesome. It's even better." I'm like, "Oh,
Awesome.
maybe maybe I'll stay away longer."
I don't need you.
Um, yeah, it's going well. We're working with a kindergarten chain called Woodland, which is quite famous in Hong Kong, and they've got 9 locations and a really brilliant attitude towards their kindergarten, their curriculums and things like that. We're also in a lot of international schools like Stanford International, Shrewsbury is a new one that we've started with, Yul Chung International, Kellett, Harrow, lots of like the famous international schools in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And that's been awesome. We've also got into do some amazing work with a special needs school in the English Schools Foundation called Sarah Rowe, and those children are just stunning. And I personally go and teach those classes with the
Okay.
special needs kids, and they're awesome. And I think that's one of the nicest things that I do in my week, and I really look forward to that. Um, and these kids are in a special school because they're learning disabilities are quite severe. So it might be like cerebral palsy,
Oh,
Down syndrome, autism, and autism all over the spectrum. Some people are non-verbal, and so communication's tough. Some might just have slight behavioral issues with their autism and that as well. So they need a lot of care. There's lots of people or shadow teachers in the room to kind of look after people. And yeah, it's a gorgeous school. The people are lovely. The kids are gorgeous. And it's very interesting. It's a very colourful lesson sometimes. It's just
yeah.
things that the kids say or do or whatever. But I absolutely love it. It's a pleasure.
That's awesome, man. That's definitely awesome. I
Yeah.
want to ask you this, man. Yeah, you've done so much in your life, man. Um, all of it, I feel like revolving around dancing or in some fashion, some sort of it. What lessons have you learned from dancing that you're able to translate to your everyday life?
Um, Things take time.
Hey, persistence.
Yeah, persistence beats resistance.
Showing up, showing up.
um, yeah, showing up definitely. Also, just through there's a very political environment in dancing in the competitive world, and I think what the political environment comes down to is kindness and empathy. And if you, I think it's all about being good to people. Um, and understanding everyone's emotional state all the time and being open to that as well. So yeah, there's so many things like working with a partner one on one for long periods of time under stressful situations. Uh, Being empathetic and being kind is key to the success of that relationship, and
Yeah.
to making sure that you get the best out of each other on a personal and a professional level. And I was gifted with Sarah because she's both of those things. Uh, and she taught me a lot actually, just through being herself. And she comes from a beautiful family in Italy. And I was a bit tough, I think, before I met her. And she just taught me um, how to give leeway when it's needed. And how to listen and how to not listen and things like that. Like she was just, yeah, she's quite a special human. And I've carried that on to teaching, and I've carried that on to relationships and things like that. Even with my own family and in my private life, I think that's and I know that sounds funny, but I think that's the key to a lot of things and a lot of relationships in general. Um, and yeah, I think work ethic and being kind is pretty key to everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Let me ask you this, man. How would you define success for Move for Life? What will make you say this is not successful, or is it already successful for you?
It's actually already successful for us. I think having programs and creating things that people find joy in and value, like personal value, like the children are getting something from it. And we've seen so much of it over the last few years, which has just been so nice. Allowing something that's not already existing in the current curriculum to allow kids to participate and shine in different ways. In dancing, I don't think people understand how much like the arts, like acting, singing, dancing, actually help kids learn about life and
Yeah, definitely.
about other subjects as well. So yeah, I think success for us is, I mean, obviously there's a financial aspect where we want to grow and get bigger and better, but not at the cost of not being awesome to everyone. Um, Keeping it nice and tight and structured so that we understand what we're giving in these workshops or in classes or whatever we do. to make sure that these kids are getting the best guidance through this dancing. I mean, a lot of what we do is about creating classes where every single kid in that class can get something out of it. So it's
Okay.
not like ballet where it's like, well, actually, when you get to this age, you can't do this anymore because physically you're this isn't for you. Like your legs are too short.
Oh,
Blah
yeah.
blah blah.
Okay.
It's like, well, no, you can do this. If you really really want to do this, you have to work at it,
Of
but
course.
you can do it. Um, and just giving kids that freedom to kind of to express themselves. I think, especially in an environment like Hong Kong, that's just so pressured and academic for these kids. It's nice to be able to be that person that gives them that magic that they need as a kid, and I think you all need magic as a kid.
I
Yeah,
definitely understand, man. You're like you already said, you're trying to have an impact, trying to have an
yeah,
impact on somebody's life, man, which is so amazing, man.
and just be proud of work. Just be proud of the stuff that we're doing, which we
Yeah,
are.
right, right. That's
Mhm.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
I don't wanna forget about this, man. Tell me about Dancing with the Stars in Australia. How did you get on with that? And what was that experience like? I'm jumping out of order, I know.
Yeah, so I did the show in 2015, and I was partnered with Samantha Harris, who was
Right, right,
one of
right, right, right.
our supermodels in Australia, and she's gorgeous. She's such a nice lady. We're still friends. And then this year, I got called back, and they said, "Listen, we're starting it up again." And I said, "Okay." Um, and then, as it turns out, I got partnered with a drag queen, Courtney Act.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
um,
I saw.
and
Oh, real quick. I'm sorry. I don't cut you off, but I saw the performance you did with Samantha Harrison. That was in 2015. That
yeah,
was wonderful, man. That was a really great performance, man.
oh, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that was great. I wasn't really sure if I was built for TV, so
I
I was
think you
quite
did well.
nervous. Yeah, I did enjoy it. There was lots of fun. We got knocked out, I think, in about week 4 or 5.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so, but that was okay. I think Sammy was done by then. She was like, "Oh," she goes, "I'm tired now because it's
I
such a
remember
hefty work
yeah, she
schedule."
looked like she was going through a lot, man. I saw like a video of you on YouTube. She was very stressed out about it.
Yeah, she was, and she had a lot of personal things going on at the time. Uh,
Okay.
and it was actually perfect that I was there with her because we worked through a couple of those things together.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and that's and she's a lovely person, and I'm really glad I was there to kind of to be there for her a little bit, which is nice.
And what was it like this year for you?
This year was very special. Um, I got to I got to break down a whole heap of social barriers and do some amazing things with an amazing person. Um, so Shane, who is Courtney Act, um, is basically just one of the best voices for LGBT in Australia and globally. Success on RuPaul's Drag Race, not Dance Race, um, and just won the Celebrity Big Brother in the UK, amongst
Oh,
like lots of
okay.
other things, and just an absolute legend, like, and such a good dancer, such a good dancer. Um, and yeah, we are the first male couple to dance on Dancing with the Stars um, in the Anglosphere, and it was just so epic. And I was so honored to be able to do that and to deliver these performances that had power and that had awesome stories behind them and let people into a whole nother world. Like my mental state after it is changed. Like I see things
Okay.
totally different now. Like, gender fluidity, um, gender queer, understanding that, because people are like, oh, does Shane want to be a girl? And I'm just like, oh, is he transgender? And I'm just like, no, he's a boy, and he embraces his femininity. And sometimes he likes to dress up as a girl because he's really pretty as one, like super super pretty, and he's awesome at it. And he's just and under all that, he's an epic human. He's so clever, so well spoken, and very one of those beautiful, kind people that I've just absolutely loved working with.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's been so good. I've loved it, the whole thing.
Okay, that's awesome, man. I'm curious, man. Tell me, Uh, what are some upcoming events you have going on in your life, man?
So with work, I'm back in Hong Kong tomorrow, and we have a Disney parade for about, I think, up to 70 or 80 kids on the 11th and 12th of May, which is massive. It's a big
Uh-huh.
day, lots of costumes, um, lots of parents. It's actually quite exciting for us and for all the kids. Then I have Sarah and I are going to. I think we're going to do a floor show or some teaching in Shanghai and a show in Shanghai in June. Oh, is it June? No, it's August. I've got a wedding in June in Italy. And then, yeah, I think lots of other. I've got to actually find out. To be honest, for the last 3.5 months, I've only been focused on Dancing with the Stars because
Okay, right,
there's
right,
so much to do. So in the next week, I'll open up my email account and probably find out all these things I have
right.
to do. um, but yes, but those are the main immediate things
Okay, now I
that
understand.
I'll be looking at. Yeah.
I know you're a very, very busy man. Leading up to this conversation, I know you're busy.
Oh God, yeah. I'm so sorry. I think we like rescheduled like 100 times. But
At least, at least.
every day, like I would have something at our time schedule, and then wardrobe would be like, "You need to come in. We need to have fitting." I'm like, "What about
Okay.
warning, guys?" Like, I'm like, "Oh, you got to go to the studio. Oh, you got to go here." And I'm like, oh, okay.
No, no. I completely understand you're busy, man. And I want to say, man, I really do appreciate you taking time extra day to talk to me, man. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Oh man, thank you, bro. I want to ask you this, man. How I want you to plug everything you're doing, but how can people get in contact with you?
People can get in contact with me through. I'm on Instagram, so I'm Joshua Keefe Dancer on Instagram. I'm at Move for Life. So www.moveforlife.asia. That's my baby right there, and um, I've got a Facebook page, Joshua Keefe Dancer. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find, I think. Just look
That's
for the
perfect.
guy, yeah, in the dancing costumes. That's me.
Hey, that's very. I'll tell you this, man. When I finally upload all this, I'm gonna put all your links and everything in the description, so people can find you, man. I got you on that.
Brilliant. That would be
Yes, man.
awesome.
Of course, man. Like I said, man. I really want to take time. I would thank you for talking to me, man. I love your story, man. I'm so glad I got to talk to you and just hear
Awesome.
your upbringing to where you are today, man. You're doing so many wonderful things, and you're doing you move for life. It's like no one asked you to do that, So the
Yeah.
fact that you took it upon yourself, man, to do it, and you're having such an impact on the younger generation, man. It's such applaudable, and I admire you so much for that, man. Seriously.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Of
It's
course, man. Of course.
try to make my mark.
I definitely understand that, man. But I don't want to hold you up anymore, man. I know you're a busy man, so I want to, like I said, thank you
Yes.
so much, man.
I have to get packing back to Hong Kong tomorrow. I've got to pack
Okay,
up
sure
three
enough.
months of things.
I understand, man. So yeah, like I said, Joshua, man, Mr. O'Keefe, thank you so much, man. I want to say that just enjoy the rest of your day, man. Have a wonderful day,
Awesome.
bro.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Of course, of course. Take it easy, Joshua.
Okay. See you later.
All right,
Bye.
ciao.
All right, so hey everyone. If you made it this far to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much for just watching this. I really hope that you found value in this. My whole goal in this endeavor is to give a voice to people, to dancers, and to give value to the dance community. So if I'm not giving value, it's kind of pointless. So I strongly urge you to please comment and let me know where I can improve, what I need to do better, what I'm doing wrong, and hopefully what I'm doing right. But my overall goal is I want to give content. I want to be helpful. So please let me know where I can improve upon. I'm new to all this, so I'm learning as I go. So I need like feedback. Please comment and just let me know how I can improve, I would greatly appreciate that. That means the world to me, just to be able to interact with you all, have a conversation with you, and just see what you like and what you don't like. That means the world to me. I love interacting with you all. It means so much to me. But yeah, thank you so much for making it this far into the video. I gotta say, please leave a like, subscribe. If you don't like it, then let me know why not. Hit the down like button, hit the unlike button. But thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
So, you're growing up in Mordecai, right? I don't know if I said it right. um, and so do you go to like college there? Like do you move to another place? Like,
Oh, I was there all my life in Maracay, in the same city. I went to high school there. I got ready from high school there. So when I turned 18, I came to USA. So now I'm here.
okay.
So as
And
soon as
so
I graduated, I came. Yeah.
okay, and so